Man, I'm so tired of hearing these two scrubs right here talk on podcast. I think the NBA and the NFL should come together and they should ban active players from having a podcast. It's a conflict of interest, and nobody wants to hear y'all talk. You're an active player. I'm all cool for the former players having their podcast. I like watching the former players talk sports. But the active players, you need to focus on your team. You need to focus on the game. You need to focus on your craft, on your career, instead of a guy like a Micah Parsons who is always just focused. He's a podcaster now more than an NFL player. And Paul George especially, who doesn't even play. He doesn't even play half the games, but he's sitting there on games, on nights where he's off injured or whatever, load managing. He'll come out with a podcast. Are you serious? To me, this is the biggest disrespect to the fans. This is the biggest disrespect to the organization, to the craft, to the game, that you're more worried about clicks and views and being a podcaster than you're worried about playing in the NBA than playing in the NFL. So what you guys should do then, you should give your $1 million salaries to regular people who go make $10 an hour, $13 an hour, $15 an hour, and give up playing in the NFL or NBA for millions to just be a regular podcaster. Because there's plenty of regular people trying to make it, and you guys are out here taking up spots while also being an active NFL and NBA player. I can understand your career's over. Then you're like the rest of us. You need a job. You know, the former players, they need a job. So I can understand they're back at square one at zero. So they're looking, okay, here we go. I need to find a way, to either get on TV or start a podcast so I can make some money, because the NFL and NBA checks aren't coming in anymore. But guys that are actively playing in the NBA and NFL, just shut up and play. We don't care what you have to say. We want to hear you. We want to see you play. We don't want to see you talking, especially Micah Parsons. I know a lot of people have Bleacher Report. If you go on Bleacher Report, they're always promoting him. Nobody watches it. It gets no views, and the only views it gets and comments it gets is criticism. Because let's be real, Micah just talks nonsense. He doesn't study up on other sports. He doesn't study up on what he's even talking about, and he just talks. As for Paul George, I'll give Paul George this. He's a little bit more entertaining, and you could tell he studies a little bit more, but of course he has time to study the topics he's talking about because he never plays. For that, void his salary then and just be a podcaster. Donate your $40 million a year, Paul George, to the fans, to the people that are working hard, to the people that have regular jobs, while you're getting paid $40 million. And then you want to take also YouTube and ad revenue money and sponsorship money also. That's just so greedy. To me, I find it so greedy that these guys want to do everything. They want to take every job. They want every job. They want to be every podcaster. They don't want normal people to do that. They want to do it too while also playing. Wait until you're retired to do that. Because then when you retire and you're not a professional athlete anymore, you're a retired professional athlete, you're just like everyone else. But no, these guys, they want to do everything. I can understand how, LeBron was in a movie, Michael Jordan was in a movie, Shaq was in a movie. Yeah, that's different. Normal people are not working usually in the movie industry. And movies, they were in like one or two their whole career. Not that they're every night on a podcast show talking and spewing nonsense. Like Micah Parsons, he gets in trouble all the time. He says dumb things all the time. And he's making millions to say dumb things and supposed to be getting sacks. And he had his worst year this year. Paul George, he's not even good anymore. He's not all-star level. He's not a top 50 player. He's probably not even a top 100 player anymore. He doesn't even play. But instead, he's on here spewing every night just nonsense, thinking he's going to be the king of podcasting. What? Shut up and just play basketball. Micah, shut up and just play football. That's what we want to see you do. When you guys retire, if you're so good at this, then make a podcast then. Make a podcast then. Because if you see Travis Kelce, he's an active player that has a podcast, but the podcast is second. His podcast is second to the season. During the season, you don't see him release too many You don't see him doing that. You see him focusing on winning the championship. Micah Parsons claims he wants to win a championship, but he's always podcasting. It seems like instead of watching film, he's podcasting. When Micah Parsons is podcasting, Tom Brady was watching film. Patrick Mahomes is watching film. Same goes for Paul George. When Paul George is doing all these podcasts, doing all this silly stuff, for the past 20 years, besides LeBron's little podcast he had last year that he didn't really care about, he was watching film. He was perfecting his craft. He was getting at it, not having a podcast where he's on all the time. It's just ridiculous. If you're making millions of dollars, and if you're a regular person, you got paid millions of dollars to run a company, would you focus on that, or would you focus more on a side business you got that's making you way less, and not focus on the job that's making you millions? And you're missing that job sometimes, and then you're at your other job, and your other job finds out and they don't care and they don't say anything. That's not how the real world works for the rest of us. That's not fair. For the rest of us, if you work for one job, especially making millions, so you'd have to be like a CEO or a head coach of some big football team or something, or owner of Amazon, and they see you working at another job, they fire you. Even if you're just a small time, you work at a call center and you're working remote and you have another little remote job that you're doing and they catch you, you get fired. But these athletes, they have no accountability. They don't hold these guys accountable, none. So what do they get to do? They get to be spoiled and entitled. And while also making $30-40 million a year, they get to have their little podcast on top to hear, so we can hear them talk about nonsense. Nobody cares. Focus on winning. Focus on the game. Especially Micah Parsons. He's not the brightest guy, I'll be honest. When you hear him talk, he's not the brightest guy. And he's not even entertaining at all. And they gave him a platform when you got a bunch of other people who, should have a platform. There's this guy I watch, his name's Ticket TV. He's amazing. He's got like 300,000 subscribers. Amazing. He should have the big platform that Paul George has, that Micah Parsons has, not them. And he focuses only on YouTube. He focuses on his grind. These guys are not focused on what the main thing is the main thing. They're not keeping the main thing, which is playing basketball or playing football at the professional level, which is a full-time 365-day job, 24 hours, 7 days a week, focusing on your body, focusing on film, focusing on fundamentals, focusing on getting better. They're not doing that. They're out here instead want to chat with their friends, hee ha ha, all this BS. No, focus. That's why sports, especially for the NBA, the ratings are going down because these guys they don't care anymore. And the NFL, the ratings are up always because we like the physicalness, but it's gonna start going down if you have more people acting like Micah Parsons. That's why you don't see too many people out here doing podcasts in the NFL, because Jerry Jones is not their owner. They're not going to put up with that crap. And he's on defense, so he's hitting people. He's not getting hit. He don't got to go across the middle and get hit. And as for Paul George, just stop it, dude. Just retire. Just retire. You want to be a podcaster P? Then be a podcaster. Stop getting all this $40 million or donate your salary. There's plenty of poor people in Philly. Go give it to homeless people. Go give it to anybody else. But stop it. Cut it out. It's ridiculous. We're tired of it. Or I'm tired of it. I don't know if anyone else is tired of it, but I'm tired of it. I'm tired of seeing these guys making all this money, and everybody else out here struggling with this economy. And these guys are also having podcasts on the side while actively playing, while making all this money. That's just ridiculous. And they don't even be studying up half the time on the topics. Or they can't watch the other games because you're supposed to be playing in your game. So how did you see that? How did you watch that other game? Were you watching Red Zone? How? You're playing on the field. Paul George, were you watching the other games? How? You're supposed to be playing. You're supposed to be watching film. You're supposed to be at practice. It's ridiculous, man. But all right, guys. It's Bias Sports. Let me know what y'all think. I'm out.